Can you put my screen on here?
Yep. To make sure everything was shipped.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Okay, so it looks like we have 7 people tuned in. 9. Okay, good. Want to give this a second for a few more people to tune in. And if you guys could, in the meantime, let Paul know. Paul, my lovely assistant, how are you, Paul?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Good. So if you guys could let Paul know that you can hear and see okay, we'll know that I can go ahead and move forward here. Now, before we start taking your questions, you could start posting your questions now, but before I'll be taking them, we are going to get through your weekly horoscopes. So feel free to start putting them in the comments, and Paul would appreciate if you include names of anyone living or deceased that you're referring to, including your pets. If you want to speak to a deceased pet or you're having a problem with your animal, please also put the pet's name. Okay, that does count. I do want to invite you guys to check out a couple really important classes coming up here. We have on Wednesday, June 10th at 7 p.m., Intuitive Kids. I will be training your children in how to manage their natural intuitive abilities, psychic, mediumistic, empathic. So if you think you have a sensitive child or you think you have an intuitive child, this would be a great class for them, because I don't just help them to, increase their abilities. We don't just open up Pandora's box in here. What we're actually doing is to help them become more comfortable with the abilities that they have, learn how to control and manage them, so that they're not negatively influencing their lives, and then to educate them a little bit on what it is and show them how to use them for their healing, for the healing of others. So Intuitive Kids, okay, open to all ages. I would also say that Psychic Mediumship Development course begins October 7th, and that registration is now open. If your child is, 12 years or older, they could also take that course. Let's see. Then we have on Thursday, June 11th at 7 p.m., Anti-Burnout Empathic Awareness Training. Everyone has empathic ability, but there are 4 different levels. And your empathic ability is going to increase based on your circumstances. So for those of you out there right now doing the protests, for those of you that work in a field that's very stressful, anything from being a police officer to a teacher to the medical profession, if you're an essential worker, a lot of people just in general in their daily lives are feeling burnout because of current circumstances with the pandemic and job loss. So anti-burnout empathic training is going to teach you how to cleanse, how to become rooted and grounded, how to block. I'm going to teach you tools that you can utilize every day to prevent burnout. Okay, we also have the End Times. Are We There? Show coming up with special guest Danny Johnson, spiritual activist, and Christina Del Rey, our astrologer here at the Academy. We'll be talking about the end times. Are these the end times? What can we compare them to astrologically? What should we expect from here? Okay, Danny will be looking at more of a Christian perspective with the book of Revelations. I'll be coming at it with the visions that I've been having since 9/11. Publicly discussing those for the first time and coming at it from a native perspective. What do we think is really going on here? Do we think these are the end times? I do, yes. Okay, but do we have free will? Absolutely. So it's what we do with these opportunities. Okay, so End Times is coming up when? I don't see that on here.
Saturday the 20th.
Saturday the 20th at 9 p.m.?
Correct.
At 9 p.m. Okay, very good. Here on YouTube. Let's get right into your weekly horoscopes. Okay. Very good. Welcome, everybody. I'm Ivy Rivera, psychic medium. I'm a Taino Airwalk, and I own a school called the Ivy Rivera Psychic Academy, where I train people in psychic mediumship. And it has expanded. It is now an international online school where we train people in everything from Reiki to astrology to tarot. So check it out. And these are your weekly horoscopes from Monday, June 8th to Monday, June 15th. Like always, we are going to start with Aries. Aries, what is going on with you for the week? On Wednesday the 10th, what I'm feeling is an increase in your money, your prosperity, investment opportunities, your work and career, going in a destiny charted forward moving direction. Whenever I see an arrow going this way, it's basically like you're going along for the ride. There's not a ton for you to do with this. It's not falling into a free will zone. So it's going to happen, and it actually cannot be manipulated, okay? So nothing can mess up with its timeline, and nothing can come in and alter the circumstances or the details. So enjoy that prosperity. Now on Thursday the 11th, I'm hearing for you the giving tree. And whenever Spirit talks to me about the giving tree, it means that you need to have out of the box thinking. If we look at a tree and we look at all the different kinds of things that we could do with the tree, you know, some people want to sit in its shape. Some people want to climb up high and get a different perspective or view on life. Some people want to cut it down and use its wood for shelter. Some people want to eat the food that's growing off of it. There are a million different things you could do with a tree, but we tend to just see a tree and think, it's a tree. No big deal. This is about all the ways that a situation or a relationship in your life can be giving to you right now, but you need to have out of the box thinking with it. Okay, so look at your circumstances from some other perspectives. On Friday the 12th, there's talk of two people, and it felt like a love affair. So for some of you, you could find two people in your social circle competing with each other. You may have two family members, two children competing with each other. And for some of you, this felt to me like a little bit of a love triangle. If you're out there dating or cheating, watch out, okay, for karma on that one. You could find that you're talking to two separate people and not really necessarily feeling that either one of them is going in the right direction. And it could very well be because you're not being entirely truthful. So make sure that you are, and that you're not trying to play anyone. And if you feel that neither of these are really the right person for you, be mindful too that even if you said, I just want to keep this thing light, that you understand that they should not be giving their heart over to you, okay? Even if you set boundaries with someone and you say, I just want to keep this thing light, if they are very attached to you, it is your responsibility to cut it off. And don't be double talking. If this ends up being a family or a social situation, don't be playing both sides of the fence, okay? But it shows split between two people, your heart being split. Sunday the 14th and Monday the 15th, we have a bit of a joint message on these 2 days. I'm hearing from your mothers, your grandmothers, your aunties, your elder female energy, living and deceased. They're going to be coming and giving you direction if they're alive, okay, in obvious ways, and if they're deceased from the other side through dreams and visions, communicating with you, letting you know how you can be more steady in your character on those 2 days. So make good choices from a place of high morality and ethical code in your money, in your work, in your relationships. I also feel that there's a bit of a theme for you on those 2 days about being distracted, almost like your mind is going back and forth and back and forth. And these ladies want to make sure that you are not distracted in your thinking or having double speech, because karma is being delivered here soon. I would say within the next 3 days to about a week. And you want to make sure you're on the right side of that delivery. Aries, have a great week. Tauruses, what is going on with you for this week? On Monday the 8th and Tuesday the 9th, we have a similar themed message going on here. I see you needing to be more childlike, and that can also mean that you need to feed your inner child, or that you need to be playful. It also feels to me like there is some type of energy in your life that's causing you to look backward at your past and examine where you've been, what you've been investing your time in, what is really working for you. And you're learning how to, I feel, set better boundaries with people, with circumstances in your life on those 2 days to better feed your inner child and make sure that you have the energy that you need to sustain yourself going forward. On Wednesday, the 10th, and Thursday, the 11th, again, we have a combined message on both of those days. I see you having your nose to the grind in what would appear to be a destiny charted moving prosperity direction, which is great. Again, like I said, for Aries, what this means is that it's already set in stone. It's written in the stars. There's nothing for you to do but reap the benefits and put one foot in front of the other. It cannot be manipulated by time or circumstance. So that's excellent, but it is going to require that you're very, very focused. And on Thursday, the 11th, there's talk of you feeling as though you're in the waiting place. It reminded me of that Dr. Seuss book. You know, nobody likes to be in the waiting place. And this is not a place for you. This is not a place for you to stay. We all get there sometimes, but always have a plan on how you're going to get out. And I felt that what your ancestors were showing me and your guides are showing me is that whether this is a relationship, this is a financial situation, this is a project you're trying to move forward with, or health in your life, it's important that right now you be patient. Because what's interesting about this circumstance is that it's sort of already a done deal. There's not a ton for you to do just yet. What you also need to be watching for is divine timing. Now, we have a free mini class coming up called, what's it called?
Timing. When to make a move.
It's super creative. It's called Timing.
Yeah.
When to make a move. Okay, so that's coming up here soon. Paul can list that in the comments below. But what I think is important is that you understand that right now it's about being patient, but soon here, it's going to be the time for you to make a move and lift yourself up out of this waiting place. And they're going to be giving you guidance on exactly when that is. So pay attention, I would say, especially over the course of the next 3 to 4 days. On Sunday the 14th and Monday the 15th, there's talk of your health. Now, I can't prescribe or diagnose. There's also talk of the health of those around you in your inner circle, and people keeping an eye on that, or you keeping an eye on the health of others in your circle. And for you, especially on Monday the 15th, there's talk of your throat chakra and needing to clear that. That's going to mean one of two things, okay? You are either not speaking your truth and you need to on that day, or you did and it wasn't received. It was disrespected. It was ignored in some way, which means you're going to have to set boundaries or throw a couple elbows to get your point across. Tauruses, have a great week. Geminis, my fellow Geminis, what is going on with you for this week? On Monday the 8th, there's talk of your closet and putting new clothes in your closet. There's also prosperity moving in a destiny charted upward arrow direction, which is going to mean that, yes, the prosperity is potentially there, the opportunities are potentially there, but it's really up to you what you do with it. So this is a reap what you sow karmic type of a situation. The new clothes could literally be new clothes, but it's also symbolic of you putting on a new image. And these felt to me like some power outfits. So this could mean that you're moving up into some positions, or you're putting yourself up into some positions socially, with your work and career, in your family, whatever it is, even with your money or investments, and that you're taking on that authoritative position. This could also be affecting your health in a good way. So make sure you do it. It's not going to fall in your lap. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So we're talking the 9th, the 10th, or the 8th. Am I counting wrong? Monday, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th. Okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're talking about your leadership. You moving up into more of a leadership position and tapping into some of the energy that would have gone on during the times of Jesus walking the earth. And it's not necessarily that you were a disciple. It could have been, you could have just been this sort of interested party, or you may have been observing it at that time, but this is really more for you old souls who feel that you're connected to Christ energy, or that you were around during that time. What could be happening is that you're tapping back into that past life and you're being elevated, you're leveling up into more of a position of leadership to carry on what Jesus represented and represents still now. So be mindful of the guidance that you're being given from Christ on those 4 days, not only through the symbology around you, But remember that humans are the mouthpiece for God. So it could be things that people say to you, could be opportunities and pathways that open, and pay attention to your dreams. And always, 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 if your ears are ringing, pay attention to the thoughts that are going in your head right afterward. That is direction. You could also be receiving downloads, okay? Check out the Receiving the Download free mini class that we have up. That can also look like a manic episode, so be mindful you don't get misdiagnosed. On Friday the 12th, there's talk of be careful what you say. Looks to me like this came from your ancestors and your guides, okay? Be careful what you say. But then they said, be careful what you hear. And it felt to me like someone was not being authentic with you, or a situation that you're getting yourself involved in is not showing you, revealing everything that it actually is. I think you need to be careful in dotting your I's and crossing your T's. And I think that it's not just about what you say to people. I think it's also about the way people are talking to you. I would second guess everything. I would question everything that you're hearing on that day. And be mindful that the number 7, if it's been following you around at all, that's always a marker. This is for everyone. That's always a marker that someone or a situation is trying to pull the wool over your eyes. On Sunday the 14th and Monday the 15th, this is a double message day. These would be united. There's talk of you doing light work and you moving into more of the healing arts. Now, light work in my symbol base does not have to be like Reiki or giving readings. You don't need to get a crystal ball and a skirt and a head wrap. Maybe that's not the best example to use for me myself today. But, you don't have to go fully out on a limb. It could also be going back to nursing school. It could be, working within a pharmacy, looking at holistic or alternative medicines. It could be anything from cosmetology to massage therapy, acupuncture, really even the communications. But for many of you, it feels straight up like light work, energy work, okay, doing this type of thing. And I heard new and yes and upward. Okay, so that's great. Get into it, Geminis. Awesome. Have a great week. Cancers, my fellow Cancers, what is going on with you for the week? On Monday the 8th and Tuesday the 9th, we have a double message for both of those days. I see your car going backward. Anytime I see you in a vehicle going backward, what it can mean is that you're a little bit out of control. Not necessarily that you're not making the decisions, but that you're feeling disempowered in some way. You feel like your life is backpedaling somehow. So this is either in a situation, a relationship, with health. And what I'm hearing is this came from your ancestors and your guides. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't, with a big exclamation mark. Now, that to me looks like someone's manipulating the situation to make it be so for you, to make you go backward, to cause you to go backward, and you're not going to allow it. It may take you like 2 days to realize that this is happening. 2 conversations, 2 pieces of evidence come to the forefront, but you need to catch it and you need to get the upper hand to make sure you're moving forward. On Wednesday the 10th and Thursday the 11th, we have again a theme on these 2 days. I saw someone crawling back to you. Now, this could be a family member or a friend, maybe a coworker, somebody who did you dirty. It could also be an old lover and possibly even a current lover. Someone is coming crawling back and is trying to, I almost want to say, get you to buy, a load of nonsense that they're putting down. And my feeling here is that you need to have really strong boundaries, and you need to say, listen, I love you dearly, but I'm going to have to love you from a distance, okay? Or that's great. Thank you so much for that sort of apology. However, the boundary line is still right about here, okay? So don't cave on that one. Saturday the 13th and Sunday the 14th, there's the general theme again on those 2 days, and it's all good. It's an increase going forward in a destiny charted direction, which means there's nothing for you to do but put one foot in front of the other with your money, with your career, with any kind of exposure that you've been looking to get with the public, with even if you're an artist or you speak publicly in some way, or a musician. I see an increase there, with some other opportunities technically falling into the free will zone. These areas would be health, bringing in babies or expanding your family, accepting a proposal for marriage, and any kind of contracts. Now, those are falling into a free will zone, which means they're coming, but it's up to you to make sure that everything is done properly. Okay, you have a lot of room for manipulation to make it work just right. Okay, but tons of investment opportunities there also. Enjoy, Cancers. Monday the 15th, there's talk of your ancestors watching you and reaching out to you, and they just said, wow. And the wow to me felt like, yes, they're proud of your life and the improvements that you're making, but I really felt like you were going to be getting some kind of direction from them that really carried a wow factor. Like, it is absolutely undeniable. Okay, so that is going to be a great time for you to listen again to the ear ringing, them putting thoughts in your head, symbology, or using other humans as the mouthpiece of God, even using animals and your dreams on Monday the 15th. Cancers, have a great week. Leos, what is going on with you for this week? On Monday the 8th and Tuesday the 9th, we have a general theme, and that is that you need to speak. Now, Spirit wrote that all in caps with an exclamation mark at the end. So that sort of speaks for itself. I don't know I need to get into it, but it did also feel to me that on Tuesday the 9th, there was a little bit of talk of a closed throat chakra. Now, a closed throat chakra is going to mean one of two things. You are either not speaking your truth, or you did and it was rejected. It wasn't acknowledged, and now proper boundary setting has to take place in order for you to clear out that throat chakra. You cannot continuously be disrespected, okay, in this situation. On Wednesday, the 10th, and Thursday, the 11th, there was talk of a new business venture, and that went into a destiny-charted upward direction, which means that there's some kind of a new project, some type of an opening, some type of a new adventure and business venture that is going to require that you set the tone, you set the details, you possibly will be the one to create the schedule or who's going to be involved with it or how exactly it's going to be done. So you do have to work with this energy, but what it brings with it is you being seen in some unique new way. On Thursday, the 11th, there's talk of a new level also going forward, though this one's a little bit different. This isn't a destiny charted direction. So there's really nothing for you to do with that. You already earned it. It's just putting one foot in front of the other for that one. But this is a new level in your traditional work. So for those of you Leos that are starting, like I said, a new project, or you have two jobs, you play two different roles in your life, this one, the Destiny Charted one on Thursday the 11th, is in your traditional, more mainstream type of work I'm talking about, or what you do the majority of the time. On Friday the 12th and Saturday the 13th, there's talk of you fixing things, whether this be needing to invest in your property, check for leaks in the basement, check for a leaky roof, check for any new advancements, whether they be cosmetic or more serious, not only with the property, but also with like your car, your hot water tank, air conditioning systems. It could really be anything that can be expensive, but I do feel like maintenance needs to be done on those 2 days to prevent something from getting worse here down the line within the next 1 to 3 months. You don't want to get a kick in the teeth on that one. On Monday the 15th, there's talk of your ancestors, in particular your male ancestors and your male guides, who are giving you strength. And I heard, quote, put your foot down. So you're going to find yourself in a situation or a relationship where they're going to give you the bold energy and the endurance to do that with the representation that you need to have going into that type of a situation where you get things to work in your favor. Leos, have a great week. Virgos, what is going on with you for this week? On Monday the 8th and Tuesday the 9th, there's talk of placement. And I saw Destiny Charted forward moving prosperity for you, so that's great. That means there's nothing for you to do but put one foot in front of the other. It's going to happen, that prosperity. However, there was an awful lot of confusion over where you wanted everything to be. Now, yes, I feel that this could very well be affecting your schedule, but it also felt to me like maybe the people that you're working with, or the people that are involved in your family or your community, in your life somehow, where is everyone supposed to be placed? And where is everything that you're doing supposed to be placed in terms of a calendar? And it felt to me like a time frame, because if you don't have a really good roadmap here, even though this prosperity is destiny charted, if you don't do it in the right time frame, it could just end up really being half of what it could be. Okay, so we want to maximize. On Thursday, the 11th, oh, I also was supposed to say about that, and you're the only one who can do it, so don't be expecting someone else to do it, even if you hired people to do it. Don't think that everyone's doing their part right now, or you have a spouse that normally deals with this, go double check that work. You're the only one to do it, even if you don't think that you are. On Thursday, the 11th, there's talk of a new home, new property, or a new housemate. Could be that some of you are bringing in a roommate. Could be that some of you are bringing in a dog or a stray cat. It could be that you're looking at bringing in a lover. I felt that for many of you, you were looking at property in a new way, or your home in a new light. Okay, that could also be investment in your current property. But the way that it felt to me for many of you is that you're looking at a love partner, and you're looking at how exactly you guys could merge. And I felt really good about that. So that might be a great time for you guys to be really honest about what your long-term goals are and how it could be advantageous to both of you as well as your finances. Okay, let's take a peek at it. Friday the 12th, there's talk of you investing in your home, but also investing in your resources and upkeep of tools. So sort of like I got for Leo there could be a need on Friday the 12th to keep up your car, your washing machine, get a new dryer, whatever it is, make investments in your property. But it also felt to me that for some of you, it was about investing in your resources. And this to me looks like this could be your, that's going to come out wrong, but like your children, your relationships. It could also be about your business. If you've been trying to launch a business or you run a business, you've been slacking in some area, even with a project or a hobby that you have, you do need to invest. And you will be able to reap benefits almost on a tenfold level from that soon. Sunday the 14th, there's talk of you cleansing your heart. And this to me felt like an emotional reaction to some type of trigger in your life that you maybe aren't even identifying as a trigger. But you may need to cleanse out some issues from your past that have been blocking up your heart. And I would also say that you should be keeping a journal on this because your triggers seem to go overlooked a lot of the time. Now, there was also talk for you as well as people in your close circle. I can't prescribe or diagnose, but we're keeping an eye on health that day, and we're really keeping an eye in particular on the chest, the lungs, the heart. Virgos, have a great week. Libras, what is going on with you this week? On Monday the 8th, there's talk of you being childlike, needing to feed your inner child, needing to de-stress in some way. I want to say this, keep in mind, no one's going to do that for you, okay? It's important never to be a martyr. It's important never to be a victim. It's important to catch your burnout before it happens. Don't wait until you're a deflated balloon, a puddle of sand on the floor that has to be scraped up. Someone has to come lift you up. Check yourself, maintain yourself. Don't allow yourself to get to that point. All right, so this is about you learning a better way to manage your stress. And I see an increase in with your responsibilities, which is good in a lot of ways, okay? Because we're also seeing increase in your prosperity and all of that. But at the same time, with that additional responsibility, you have to learn a better balance here. That's a major wake-up call for you that day. It's also going to negatively affect you the rest of the week if you don't do it. So it is an order. On Tuesday, the 9th, I heard, don't let the sun go down on your anger. Not going to go into that because that could look like a million different things. It speaks for itself. Don't let the sun go down on your anger. Cleanse it out. Something's going to be going on. Wednesday the 10th and Thursday the 11th, we have sort of a theme on both of those days. I see your opportunities going in every direction. We have them going up, backward, and to the destiny charted future, which is going to mean that you could be feeling overwhelmed. And even if everything doesn't come to the forefront on those days, you can feel it brewing, almost like, oh my gosh, the winds of change or pressure, something is going on, something's coming in here. Yep, you're right. However, it's all prosperity. So yet again, you're in this position where you're going to have to stay focused and maintain. I think that what's important for you to understand is that focus on where you are right now and focus on what you can do today is going to be key, the key to your success. There was talk of, from your ancestors here and your work and money guide, do it in order of timing. So again, okay, I'm going to recommend that timing free mini class that's coming up here in about a week. When should you make a move? If you understand when to make a move, this won't feel as overwhelming as it initially did, okay? There's also talk of the one opportunity here is going slow. And there was the destiny charted forward moving one. So that's the one that you already kind of earned. There's nothing for you to do except put one foot in front of the other. But because that one is moving slow, and that seems to be the one you want to move quickly, you're going to have to also work with divine timing in that energy. So just be mindful of it. Friday the 12th, there's talk of, I heard mama, grandmothers, aunties. There's talk from feminine elders, ancestors, living and deceased in your life, reaching out to you and talking to you about no one being able to read your mind. No one can read your mind. And then what was funny was that I had a grandmother who then said, and no one wants to have to. So you're going to have to work on your communication on those days, Friday the 12th, Saturday the 13th. No one's going to be trying to read your mind. It is on your responsibility. You need to speak up on Saturday the 13th. There's talk of you needing to communicate better with a business partner, a love partner, a parent, someone that you work in conjunction with that technically makes this other person a bit of an authority figure over you, because not to say that they are per se, but you can't do anything without them. Therefore, okay, you need to make sure that you're communicating over what it is that you really want and how you see that best playing out in the future, because this really is an opportunity for the two of you to come together and have an increase in money and happiness, prosperity on all levels. On Monday the 15th, there's talk of self-healing. You healing yourself, but in turn healing others. And I saw you healing others, groups of people, through your words, through your hands, and it felt to me straight up like light work. So for those of you Libras that have a life contract, meaning what you signed on to do before you came to Earth, where you have a light working life contract, it's going to be kicking in right around that day, Monday the 15th. Tap into it and give it out. Libras, have a great week. Scorpios, what is going on with you for this week? On Monday the 8th, there's talk of karma. If you've been making some bad decisions, anywhere even, this is going to sound a little uncomfortable, within the last 2 to 5 years, and in particular 8 years back, if there were any bad decisions that you made that you have not corrected up until this point, you're going to get hit hard with a karmic slap on that day. And if there's anyone who caused trouble for you, again, 2 to 5 years back, but especially in particular the 8th year back, they're going to be getting a karmic slap on that day if they have not corrected it, and you may get a front row seat to the karma show. On Tuesday the 9th, there's talk of you being like a butterfly. Well, you literally being a butterfly, which means that you earned your wings. So there's something that you've been doing in relationship with others, with your health, with your money and work, your career, your life contract, where you have moved from being the caterpillar and the pupa phase into this beautiful butterfly. And what it is going to bring for you is a ton of free will opportunities. So you don't have to wait on destiny charted stuff to fall into your lap to take advantage of it. It's basically like whatever you want to accomplish right now, as long as you put in the elbow grease and you push forward with your energy, you're going to be able to access it. So congratulations. Job well done. For a lot of you, this may also be a recovery breakthrough. So if you got clean, this is awesome. Okay, really, really great stuff. Thursday and you may find yourself in more of a leadership position. So it's never a great idea to like get clean and then go out and have to talk about your achievements and help other people straight out of the gate. But it does feel to me like you've accomplished enough with that level, where you could start to help others get on board for what's right. And this isn't just even about drugs and alcohol. This is about eating healthier, better lifestyles, and it's about eliminating negative paranormal activity. Okay, so we have a leveling up for you guys on that day. On Thursday the 11th, there's talk of you being in a car and your car moving forward. I saw you behind the wheel. Yes. Okay, good. I saw you behind the wheel, which means that you are the one in control, you're the one in power, and you feel very positive about it. The fact that it's going in a destiny-charted direction means just put one foot in front of the other. You should know exactly what direction you're going in right now. But this symbol of you really coming into your own felt so great to me, because what your ancestors and guides were talking about here was that it has a lot to do with your independence. And in some areas of your life, you may have felt stagnant. You may have felt trapped under the boot, enslaved in some way. And you're now feeling like really graduated up to that leadership level in your own life. I also feel that it's bringing you additional strength, and it's helping you to understand who you are. It helps your identity to be stronger, and I have you being seen by others on the outside, which is at some point going to bring about abundance. On Friday the 12th, I heard, don't bite off more than you could chew. You may be offered some type of a position in, a group or a project or a potential promotion or second job, or, maybe your spouse is trying to put something on you, or your kids want to pick up an additional activity. It just feels exhausting to me. And make sure you're not biting off more than you can chew. Saturday the 13th and Sunday the 14th, we have sort of a mutual message on those 2 days. It's about you being in a position of leadership. So somehow you're moving up into a position of leadership, but before you can have it, your ancestors said, shh, we want you to listen, watch, and learn how it's done first. Okay, so you're going to step back. You're going to learn from those in a position of authority before you can really move up into it, but it's on its way. There was just a lot of talk on Monday the 15th of proud ancestors, okay? Everyone behind you cheering, supporting you, being super proud of the person that you have become and where you're headed. Okay, have a great week, Scorpios. Sagittariuses, what is going on with you for this week? On Monday the 8th and Tuesday the 9th, we have a general theme, and that has to do with your education. That has to do with you either going back to school, going for an additional training, or learning about something. For many of you, I saw you diving into books, but they could also be documentaries, YouTube videos, could be anything that's educational for you. And for many of you, it felt like the book was like a book of you. It had to do with your spiritual development. It had to do with your self-development in some way. On Wednesday the 10th, there's talk of a relationship having to look at unfinished business, stuff swept under the carpet, skeletons in the closet. One of your relationships is not in a very healthy state, and you're going to have to be productive in making sure that what has not been resolved comes to the forefront, because it is anyways, comes to the forefront in a productive way where both parties are willing to work it out. On Friday the 12th and Saturday the 13th, there's talk of sign on the line. Okay, so Friday the 12th, sign on the line. And then on Saturday the 13th, don't be passive, be bold, all in caps here. And that your self-confidence, literally, that your spirit wrote, your self-confidence is in the toilet. I don't know what happened to put you there. We don't have time to look at it. But whatever it is, you have to understand that you forfeited your confidence. You forfeited your position of power. You seem to have allowed it to be taken from you, and you're going to have to go back and get it. There's talk, though, on that Friday the 12th of sign on the line. So something is being laid out in front of you, a contract of some sort, verbal or otherwise, that is requiring you to commit yourself, okay, to this new project. So both of those messages go hand in hand. What I felt mostly, too, with the don't be passive is that, let's say, here's just an example. You could apply this to any area of your life that this is happening in. But if you were offered some type of a job and you were saying, look, I can't come into this for less than, 85 a year. I can't do it. And they were like, we'll offer you 63. You got to negotiate. You have to know your worth, and you can't just back down because you're afraid that maybe something else won't come along. I feel like hold steady, hold your ground. On Sunday the 14th, there's talk of healing in your heart and health. Can't prescribe a diagnosis, but that could be you or anyone in your immediate circle who maybe needs to take better care of themselves or is getting a wake-up call. I see a fire being lit under the rear end. That can mean that some people are being confronted on how they have not been taking care of themselves and are causing their own health problems. But I felt healing for you also, quite literally, healing of your heart. So it's very possible that you have the end of a karmic cycle, closing of a chapter of something painful that happened, possibly an apology coming in, or you being able to release and cleanse from something that had done damage to you in your past. On Monday the 15th, I'm hearing, who am I? Who am I? And I do actually feel like that's connected to Sunday the 14th, even though Spirit didn't say it that way. Because my sense is that from this healing that you have going on with your heart, it is also causing you to look at maybe people or situations that have let you down and how you have betrayed your own self. Maybe you haven't set proper boundaries there. You chose to wear rose-colored glasses. Maybe you deliberately overlooked something because you wanted to take the easy road. And now you're examining, who am I? More importantly, who do you want to be? Sagittarius says, have a great week. Capricorns, what is going on with you for this week? On Monday the 8th, there's talk of money, prosperity, an increase in health, an increase in relationships, and you being in a power position. So it seems to me that you've sort of earned some of this great payout that you're going to be having. On Tuesday the 9th, I see you being stressed, and your ancestors are asking you to examine your mental state, and more importantly, what are you paying attention to? We have to remember that whatever we give our attention to, whatever we choose to feed, we get more of. If you are giving your mind, your energy, your time, your attention over to things that aren't productive or don't belong there, then you're going to be increasing more of that in your life. And I feel that the call for you to examine that is the cause of your stress. So what they want you to do is to reprioritize. On Wednesday the 10th and Thursday the 11th, we have a mutual theme on both of those days, and this has to do with mental health. Not necessarily just of you, but also of those in your circle. I can't prescribe or diagnose, but there seems to be some type of cyclical, out of control, pattern negative thinking that is causing depression, anxiety, and mental health problems. And sometimes we just have to call it like it is, okay? Get control and, get the upper hand on that. I would recommend the empathic awareness training also up on my website. Paul, if you could put that in the comments, Ivy Rivera, empathiceducator.com. Some of these mental health issues seem to be not coming from the individual, but the individual is absorbing stress from other people. Okay, that's an empathic problem. Friday the 12th and Saturday the 13th, I'm seeing a whole new side of you. And it's a theme again on Sunday the 14th and Monday the 15th. You seem to be busting out with this humor that is helping to heal people with this, it's almost like a comedy routine. I don't know. It's like stand up. It's like you're saying off the cuff. You're like, you got a trick up your sleeve. You're just funny. And I saw you helping people that were, for some of you, it's going to be elderly. For some of you, it's people that are sick or are in recovery. And for others, it's just people that are on the margins in some way suffering. We're seeing that a lot right now. So I saw you being able to bring your light through humor. And it felt to me like this trickled in a little bit to the end of the week. So Sunday the 14th and Monday the 15th, we have another general theme on those days that had a lot to do with you healing others, but also doing it through speaking your truth. So if you've decided maybe to join the protests, if you've decided to contribute, to the movement of equal justice, okay, of reform, if you have decided to step up in your social life, your family life, your work, with your career in any way, where you're taking on more of a leadership position, it's going to come out through your mouth. It's very quite literally like you are speaking your truth. And I feel like this has been brewing for a long, long, long time, okay? So this isn't anything new, but it is the first time you've let it come out. And I see you doing more with light work. I can't even say how proud I am of everybody, not to sound like I'm old or whatever, but I can't say how proud I am of how many times I see in these horoscopes this week people coming into their light working contracts right now. Huge. Absolutely huge. Thank God. Okay. Capricorns, have a great week. Aquariuses, what is going on with you this week? On Tuesday the 9th, there's talk of maternal energy, grandmothers, aunties, moms, living or deceased, any maternal ancestors keeping an eye on you, them coming to you and you needing to also reach out to them, coming and giving you strength and wisdom in what seems to be a situation that looks like a jumbled mess, okay? If you've ever looked at like someone's bucket of yarn, someone who knits or crochets, sometimes it's like, what? That's all just knots. Or like me, that would be like for my technology, like all my chargers and stuff. It just looks like a big ball of messed up energy that could be very productive, that you need, that you must take the time to properly unwind, okay? But they're going to be helping you through that process to figure out, yes, I have a mess on my hands right now, but what can I do about it? And it's sort of like one string at a time, all right? So listen to them and journal it out, the directions that they're giving. On Wednesday the 10th and Thursday the 11th, we have a mutual theme on these days. For many of you, I saw a boyfriend or a girlfriend, possibly a spouse or a love partner in some way. This just looked to me like you need to start talking for real. You need to start being more honest with yourself, and you need to stop. They wrote stop, all in caps with an exclamation mark. And they said, stop faking it. So my feeling here on this is that you're tied up in some type of a relationship that is not, okay, here's a good way to say this. Sometimes we find ourselves in a manipulative relationship where it isn't blatant that the other person is manipulating. It's more covert, and it's things like emotional manipulation, it's subtle mental manipulation, it's them becoming walled off and unavailable to you, it's them not being open, it's them talking to other people about things but not speaking directly to you, it's like there's a threat of them not being available or leaving, it's all this subtle nonsense, and I think you need to cut that cord quick. Okay, so that looks really super toxic. And stop pretending like you don't know what's happening, and stop playing into the game by tolerating it. That's it. You don't want to be in an adult relationship, whether this be a friendship, this be a relationship with your child, a love partner, in work, whatever. If we can't speak openly and be open and honest, then it's unproductive and I don't want it. Thursday the 11th, there's talk of no more blind eye and you taking off rose-colored glasses. So there could be an additional part of this situation revealed to you. This could also be, okay, keep in mind, this could be a social scene, a social situation as well, or something at work that is getting revealed. On Friday the 12th, there's talk of you doing a bit of a cleansing on your life. And it didn't feel like any particular area. So take this however you understand it. You are cleansing out what no longer serves you, is draining your energy, or is holding you back. On Sunday the 14th and Monday the 15th, I have you as a butterfly. So if you've done all of this right leading up, we have you coming out of your cocoon, you leading the way, you leaving behind the pupa stage and the caterpillar stage, and you are taking on more of a leadership role through helping others. This may be a passion project, this may be a side gig, this may be something that you're doing with volunteering, or even the movement right now, in reform. It could really be anything, but you are helping other people through your leadership and contribution. Now, on Monday the 15th, there was talk of a book. Now, a book is about learning more skills and tools. This could mean that you decide to go back to school. This could mean that you decide to advance your training, or you're offered some type of a promotion that requires additional training. It could be that you're investigating and learning more about something you want to invest in your own life. But for many of you, it felt to me like this book was on and spiritual development, and it is connected to your life contract. Aquarius says, if you don't know why you came to Earth, you don't know what your life purpose is, get a life contract reading with me. Okay, we can look at what you signed on to do, and it will match in Vedic and Western astrology. Okay? Good astrologer can tell you exactly what I see in your life contract. But you are figuring out something about your purpose. It is going to require a little more self-development and investigating, but that's awesome. Aquarius says, have a great week. Pisces, what is going on with you for this week? Looks like you have a busy week here. On Monday the 8th, there's talk of you becoming liberated and bold and confident in what is a destiny-charted, forward-moving direction, and you in a position of power. So they show you behind the wheel, behind the driver's seat, okay, or in the driver's seat of a car. Now, destiny-charted direction means there's really nothing for you to do except put one foot in front of the other and complete the task. The way that this benefit, this promotion, makes you look so newly liberated, makes me feel like it is connected to your life contract in a big way. So this is going to be a really big day for you in you realizing what direction you should be going in and where you really want to invest your time. What this seems to do as a sort of trigger effect is to cause you to cut off people or situations that are nonsense, chatter that you no longer need, relationships that are just bogging you down, any areas of your life you've been wasting your time, your energy, your thoughts, let it go. Tuesday the 9th, there's talk of don't lose traction, okay? So your ancestors and your guides want to make sure that you're not losing the groundwork that you've laid and that you continue to move forward. That is going to require, again, that you're letting go of things that are holding you back and staying confident in your ability to go forward. So no second guessing yourself, no feeding negative thoughts. Wednesday the 10th and Thursday the 11th, we have a combined theme on those days. I heard an awkward conversation. And on Thursday the 11th, I heard, I'm coming out. It's like, I'm coming out, so you better get this party started. And while that was fun, it also looked hard in some ways. So for those of you that are closeted, maybe you're homosexual, you're trans, you're, whatever, you feel that you've been hiding something and you want to take that step out of the closet, so to speak, and make it known to, it felt to me like it could very well be family members, and that's where it felt super awkward, but also in social situations, which was less so, but still something that needed to be said for your own peace of mind, even if you feel like, well, I think everybody knows, for your own peace of mind. That's the day to come out. What I felt with this was that it was really going to help you to get free in ways that you never thought of. Sometimes when there's a secret or something is bogging us down, or we're not just liberated to be our true selves in an authentic way, it is like a weight. It is like a boulder. It is like a chain around the ankle. And once that is released, you're going to see the power that you really have. So I'm excited for you. On Wednesday the 10th, though, with this awkward conversation that you have to have, let's say you're gay and you're coming out to your grandparents or something, okay? Well, my feeling with this was that you should have almost like a little index card, or like a cheat sheet on your hand or something. I think that you need to come up with 3 key things that you want to say, 3 key points, and make it so that it's not a dialogue as much. If they have an honest question, that's fine. But it's sort of like I'm making a statement, and it was a pleasure, and I gotta go. Okay, wrap it up. Saturday the 13th, Sunday the 14th, and Monday the 15th. We have a general theme on these 3 days. Also, this is about, I saw planes, trains, and automobiles, okay? So there was also a scene of cities and a potential relocation. These are all symbols of progression. An airplane is going to mean that you may be doing long distance travel. Now, this could be for pleasure, but for many of you, it may have to do with your work, okay? You being sent out or seeing expansion. The train is significant of boundary setting. Boundary setting, when I see a train, just means that your ancestors are giving you support, as are your guides, in saying to situations, people, and circumstances in your life, look, I am a train. This is the direction I'm moving in, full steam ahead. Maybe you can come, maybe you can't, but this is where I'm going. That's all I can tell you. I'm not stopping for anybody. The way that I saw advance with your moving or potential relocations, this can be with your residency, but this could also be with your job or your career. That could mean moving to another branch. That can mean moving out of what you've been doing into something more meaningful. It could be a promotion that causes you to have to, relocate within the company or something like that. I saw in general a big yes, all in caps, 2 exclamation marks, with destiny charted movement forward, as well as with free will, which means right now the universe is handing you opportunities that you've earned, but you also have a lot of free will to dictate what you want to do. So any projects you want to start, anything you want to have for yourself, this is a great opportunity because there's also nice financial flow. Pisces, have a great week. We are done.
I don't even think you stopped to breathe there.
I don't think I did. You think I had more coffee today or something. If you guys could give feedback on how these horoscopes help you and throughout the week, it would be great if you could come back and comment and let me know, oh my gosh, this happened or that happened, or, this is making sense for me. I enjoy the feedback on these. So let's keep it going. How are you?
Great, thanks.
Good.
You did very well.
Thank you very much.
Whoa.
Let's do, I don't need this. Okay, so if you guys didn't already post your questions, Paul will be taking them. I could use the pen. Is this my pen or your pen?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
I'm all electronic right now.
Nifty.
Yeah, digital boy here. Pretty nifty setup we got there. Okay. You ready?
I am.
All right. Let's start with a pretty interesting question that came in. This is from Sil KJC, who asked, is it typical to communicate telepathically with a soulmate even if we haven't met?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I do a class called Karma, Contracts, and Past Lives. I do another one called Relationships, Boundaries, and Cord Cutting. And in both of those, I talk a lot about soulmate connection and karmic contracts and past life connection and cords. So what happens is that you'll have certain relationships with people where there is more of an intense connection than what you'll have with anybody else, even maybe your parents or your spouse or your children. And the reason for that intense connection is the cords and the contract that was signed between the two of you. So I don't look at soulmates necessarily as being super romantic, because a soulmate could be anybody. That could be your brother, that could be your friend, it could be your dog, But when we have soulmate connections, whether they're romantic or not, what we actually have there is a work contract. And the work contract requires that these cords are sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, tethering almost, okay, tying the two of you together. And that allows for things like astral travel to and from the other person more easily. So if you break up with somebody and there was a soulmate connection and the cord is still there, they may visit you in your dreams a lot, okay, due to the astral travel. It's kind of like stalking sometimes, can get super awkward. This is why we do cord cutting if it's uncomfortable. They can also communicate with you telepathically. You can communicate with them telepathically. And energetically, there's such a bond that you would not only hear their thoughts through telepathy, but you would also be able to probably feel what they're feeling, even if you're not a really emotional person. And you would know when there are major activities going on in their life, good or bad. So absolutely. And this happens because there's past life history. The way you said it was, even if we haven't met yet, you have met. You have. So yes. That's a great question.
Yeah, I like that one. T. Spigot asks, does my mother Victoria have any messages for me?
Oh, she misses you. She wants to like hold you like a baby. I feel like you're this giant baby, you know, and I feel like she wants to hold you like a baby. She said that you're going through some tough times, and that over here to the future in the next few weeks and months, it's really important that you don't second guess yourself. She said, you know who you are. You know who you are. And if your gut tells you something, or if there's something you need to do, or you have to step up to a challenge, you keep that confidence. You know who you are. Don't second guess anything. And she wants you to know that you're very protected, and she is supporting you, like wrapping you. I see her also coming up behind you, sort of wrapping you like around the shoulders and helping you to feel more calm, because your mind has been racing a bit. And I feel like at night too, before you go to bed, she's going to be visiting you in, I think, 2 dreams. Originally it was just 1. So 1 may have already happened. Okay, but visiting you in 2 dreams. She's talking about birds, in particular red birds. So I could be looking at like cardinals, or pay attention to any winged animals, including butterflies that she might be using. She loves you very much. I do feel like there's a birthday or anniversary right around this time too. So she's giving a red rose, which is a birthday or anniversary right around this time. And I feel almost like a marking point. So whether this is like a tattoo or a piece of jewelry, feel something there of in memory. And there's talk of a white rose. So I don't know if you didn't get a proper goodbye with her, or if you're just still really mourning her passing, but she gives you a white rose for that also, which is symbolic of healing. Okay, she rings your right ear, or she says your right ear has been ringing. Now, typically they're supposed to be ringing the left ear, so she's making a liar out of me. She's a little different, this one, but she says that your ears have been ringing. Okay, almost like a tinnitus. So that's her talking to you. Pay attention to the thoughts that go in your head. She just wants to hold you right now, though.
Sil KJC said thank you. And Heather said that the horoscopes always seem to line up. Thank you for giving your time to do these.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
And you're welcome. Good.
It's been a while since we've had a little psychometry. So,
okay.
Soraya says, I had a necklace with my mom's ashes in it, and it got lost. Any idea where it could have ended up?
Remote viewing. Where did the necklace go? I feel that it may have at some point fallen in a crack in a carpeted area. I think I'm looking at a brown or tannish carpet, and I feel like I'm in a crack between the wall and a dresser, wood brown, and it seems to me that there could have been a closet over here, unless that's a window, but I felt like closet, wall, dresser, it could have been there. I also saw at some point it hitting concrete. And what that can mean is that, it's lost in some way. Okay, that can mean that it's like it's gone, it's out there. But my feeling was that you're going to want to look behind things before you just decide that has happened. Okay. I feel like this furniture never gets moved. I feel like I don't vacuum or clean behind here. I feel like I don't. And I'm wondering if you moved, okay, or if you're in the process of moving or something. So it does feel to me like it's almost like a time-sensitive situation, okay?
And anyone interested in learning remote viewing, we have a video download on the website.
Do we?
Yeah.
Which one was that?
It's called remote viewing.
Remote viewing?
Yeah.
Oh, for a class.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. We have class, part of the psychic mediumship course. I teach you how to do remote viewing in psychometry. Yep.
T. Spigot said, thank you. Today is the 2nd anniversary of her death.
Today is the anniversary. You're welcome.
Okay. We have here is, Hey Lady asks, my husband LL and I are in a bit of a conflict. Will our marriage survive?
I feel very much like there's a love here in a brother-sister type of a way. I feel like it's like family, it's almost like you guys have been through a lot, and it's been enough time that you can't really see yourselves as just like love partners anymore, which I think is a beautiful thing. But it also feels to me that, in terms of being love partners, it's not working that way. So if there's a feeling of like one is the parent, one is the child, or you're more siblings or roommates than anything, I think that you need to take that and say, you know what, there's a lot of value in that. That's a beautiful thing. But what I'm looking for is more of a partnership. And I want to feel something romantically, and I want to feel an intellectual, stimulating connection to somebody else. And this doesn't really feel like we have two people with a growth mindset either. I feel like, you do and he doesn't. And so then we have problems there too with growth and processing of problems, where he may choose not to process problems. And if they're not even getting processed, then we certainly can't come to a place of solution, because that takes a lot of action and maintenance. So not a lot going on there. Do I see you getting through it? I guess you could stay. You could. This technically is up to your free will. I wouldn't stagnate. I think you have all the information you need. I think you've really collected that. Looks like the last 5, could be months, but it felt to me like 5 years. I think you've collected all the data you need to make an informed decision on what's best for your growth and his. Because every time we stay back to and we say, oh, well, I'll just do what's easier, I'll give it another shot or whatever, you're enabling the other person to not grow and develop either. If they've been growing and developing with you, maybe they have a shot of growing and developing without you. So what is love really? Sometimes it's letting people go. Sometimes that's the most loving thing to do for everyone.
Well said. Brandy Stolt says, my husband Kevin passed 7 years ago last Saturday. I planted a very nice flowers in front of the grave. Does he like the ones I planted?
I feel like it was something he would have picked, and then I felt like one was something maybe he would not have picked, but would have maybe gotten you. So it's like your style. I do, and I'm seeing a lot of red and white here also, and something small. So I don't know if you got like little ones too, but absolutely. And I feel them coming up again and again and again. So I don't know if you got something that will like regenerate. You ever see those peeps? I almost feel like it could be opened or something, like a joke. Like you can make them talk. But I feel like you could almost like trim off the dead ones and more will regrow. And I think there's going to be, he said he's using this opportunity to communicate with you. So it's sort of like the right flowers will be growing at just the right time, even out of season or when they shouldn't be. Okay. And I think that's his style. It's like he kind of communicates when you wouldn't expect him. He comes out of nowhere. He likes to give guidance and support that way. And I feel like I'm looking at frogs or toads. And so you may have some company over there on the grave, almost like little friends. And he said, I love everything you do for me. I love everything that you give me. I do. I love it. I also feel like there was some kind of a balloon, or did she say this was the memorial?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't know if this was like a balloon was there, or there was like a picture of him. I'm not saying there's a picture of him on the balloon, but I feel like a balloon and a picture of him. And he's been there for all of that. But he said, it's more important that it's a time for us to connect and that you feel like I'm really here, okay? That you know that I'm really here. That's more important than anything you could give me. It's for us to bond. And I feel like you've made it that kind of a project. It's like a bonding project. It's like something the two of you could do together, and he loves that.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Yeah, she says that they did plant perennials. And there's a picture of him on the headstone.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that must be it.
Yeah. There you go. And Soraya said that was awesome insight. She did actually move since she lost it.
Mm.
Okay, we have one from Destiny Gallo.
Okay.
She asks, have I been moving in the right direction over the last few months?
Destiny wants to know if she's been moving in the right direction. I feel like you were. I want to go 4 months. I want to look at 4 in particular, with the first month being very much like you were moving in the right direction. The month after that seems to be quiet. So whether you stagnated out or it was like 1 step forward, 2 steps back, or you started to second guess yourself, it seems like that got quiet for you. And then it seems to me like tumultuous in the third, where there was a back and forth. some type of a battle in your mind, a battle in your circumstances, or a battle in a relationship that was pulling you backward, that was tempting you to go back into your old ways, and even old ways of thinking, or where you give your energy. And now I feel like I'm looking at the 4th month, almost like we're within the first 2 weeks of coming out of one and going into another, which I guess would make sense if we're talking June, because, right, we're like going into the 2nd week. So as we look at this, it's almost like your guides put on your boxing gloves, and I see you like hitting and punching and knocking it out. So whatever this reoccurring obstacle is for you, I do feel like you're going in the right direction, and you need to not pay it any mind. I'm going to recommend a class to you called Fighting the Dark, up on my YouTube channel. Put it in the search bar. Fighting the Dark is going to break down the different ways you find yourself under attack when you're about to level up, and the prevention tactics that are used by the universe and others to stop you. And I feel like that's the battle that you've been on. We have another one coming up, free mini class called The Fear of Leveling Up, and that might help you too. But I think you're doing good. Keep going. Keep going. Yes.
We have one, Dr. Asma Vikar. Me and Solomon, my twin flame, are both in separate relationships. Will we unite?
Well, Dr. Asma,
Yeah.
and asking about Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't believe in twin flames, so I may not be the best one to ask. I do believe that you get a handful of soulmates that are potential partners over the course of your life, and there's usually one that will work really well in the day-to-day. This obviously not being it, because you're in 2 separate relationships and all. So that's a major obstacle. I also think the reason I wanted to say this to you is that I think it's dangerous sometimes when we put one person up on a pedestal and we think this is the end all be all. And what I feel in your energy is that you're comparing everybody back to this person, and you're not completely open to the flow and the fluidity of what could be coming in otherwise. And what we really want to look at here is the reality of the situation, that there's a lot of work that has to be done in order for this to be something that could function in the day-to-day. And it is a myth that there's all kinds of turmoil and blocks and obstacles to you being with that right person. You know, it is something that can happen, but the work would need to be done. And we can't really judge this relationship accurately until that is out of the way. And I feel that Solomon drags his feet in moving forward. And I think it would be unfortunate for you to be left holding the bag and waiting. Okay, so I think you need to open up more. Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. Heather is asking, does my mother, Lynn, have any advice for me about what I am facing in my life?
Well, I feel this odd sense of, first of all, I want to say she just sort of like this, okay, watching, stands like this or like this, which is symbolic, and she's not moving, which is symbolic of she is supporting you and she's speaking when she needs to, but she's not bombarding you and she's not trying to dictate. And this feels complicated. And there seems to be some kind of legality involved in this situation. Almost like I'm looking at some type of a court situation or a legal situation, or when they say that something is sort of legal, it is very structured. Okay, whatever the situation is that you're dealing with, it's very, very set in stone, the way that it can work out and operate. So there's not a lot of free will. It's not a willy-nilly, fluid type of scene. And I feel that what's required in a situation like that is that you navigate very carefully and you understand how to play the game. And it looks to me like a game of chess. You understand what the opponent, okay, is doing. You understand what moves you need to make in order to win the game. And I think that if you're doing this more strategically, you're going to find yourself in a better, your mother says, positioning, okay, and feeling better with your position, ultimately. I also think you're over-dramatizing it. So she says, don't do that, okay? Don't overthink it. Don't get into cyclical patterns of thought. Don't obsess over it. Don't look for more. What should I be doing? the serenity prayer. Okay, do what is your responsibility and then let go. Learn how to turn your mind off where this thing is concerned, because right now she said it's draining you, and that's all about you. That's all about you allowing that to happen. I don't want you worried, she said. I don't want you worried. No, I don't want you worried. Okay? I forgot what the question was. I don't even know if that answered it. I hope so. Is that in the ballpark?
Yes. So Jamie Lynn is asking, what specific abilities do I have, and what should I do to actively be of service during these heavy times?
Ooh, well, I have started something. It's up on my website called Spiritual Life Coaching, because so many light workers, thank God, due to the end times and the changes in circumstance here and the Great Awakening, we see more light workers coming into their life contract. So, Spiritual Life Coaching will break it down for you in literal detailed ways, where you're supposed to be going, you know, what you were meant to do with it. But as of right now, let's take a quick look at this. So she wants to know what direction she's supposed to be going in. First of all, you have to clean out dark energy. Okay, we have some paranormal issues going on. And what that can mean is that you at some point invited these in. Now, this could be you, this could be other people residing in your house. But it was invited in. This could be through drug and alcohol abuse. This could be through mental health issues, depression and anxiety, or some type of a physical condition that you may have gone through. When we have an accumulation of paranormal activity, unfortunately, we have to get all that cleaned up before we can help anybody else. So you can't go forward with your healing arts until you have learned how to maintain your own energy. Okay, you can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't be the blind leading the blind. So you need to learn what happens with negative energy versus energy in the light and discernment. And once you learn that language and the art of how to maintain that, you'll be free to go and start doing your work. Looks good.
Yeah, we did get a few questions that were about spiritual guidance there.
It's so exciting.
Yeah, it was great to see. Everyone's
I'm thrilled.
like,
I could not be happier.
Yeah.
I'm like a pig in slop lately with all this.
This is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Marlene says, I want to separate from my husband, but he's giving me a hard time, and I'm tired of trying to fix my marriage. What's going to happen between us? And the husband's name is Jose.
Yeah. Nothing really is going to happen between you. I feel that you have to realize that he is manipulative and has been throwing his weight around for a long time, and that you can't expect it to be any different now. Your error wasn't tolerating it for so long, and staying isn't going to fix that error. Okay, so this is terrible, but he doesn't do well with blows to his ego. So I think if he really starts to get nasty, doing a 1-2 punch to the ego there and knocking him down, and then quickly stepping over his body legally, okay, can get you to the finish line, because he gets drained very easily. And you want to treat him like what he is right now. You know, he's an opponent. You knock him down while he's down and out, step over him, and get to a legal place where you're more comfortable and you have the upper hand. Once you get the upper hand, you can maintain the upper hand. But in the meantime, any kind of dialogue back and forth, this is a non-negotiable. And he's not going to allow that to happen. So you need to make that statement. You need to keep your cards close to your vest. You need to not be sharing what you're doing. And you're going to have to kind of figuratively knock him out. Okay? Step right over. He'll get back up and try to cause more trouble for you then. But by then, I mean, he'll have no power. So quickly move.
Okay, Tristan asks, what can you tell me about my dog Lola? She's 13 years old and she hasn't been doing well lately.
I see her not drinking. Lola seems to be, very much in love with you and very happy. She feels very supported, but she's done in a lot of ways. She's tired. She's tired and older. And she seems to be experiencing some pain through the hips and the legs and her little dog knees, into her feet and ankles. And especially on the left side, I have some activity going on, especially through the feet, that just, is causing her to, whether it's pant or be in pain or be aggravated. And I feel like you've been analyzing aspirin, or you've been looking at the dog equivalent of what would be almost like a pain reducer, or what am I thinking of? An anti-inflammatory. And I feel that at some point there could be talk of injections, but, which helps some. But she also seems to be having some issues with some of her organs, the filtration systems. So I might be talking about like liver, kidneys, things like this. And her heart. Her heart is feeling a bit swollen to me, which can mean that it's sort of slowing down the pumping, okay, of the blood, the circulation. And these just sort of feel like older people problems to me, older dog problems. And I think that what she wants you to realize is that when she starts to sort of tell you that it's time, she would appreciate that you just handle things from there in a respectable way, because she has peace with that decision. It could be an uncomfortable decision for you, but, she's the kind of dog where her passing ultimately could be very dragged out. And I feel like she doesn't want that. I feel like you don't want that. There's no need for it. Dogs get better treatment than we do, and you might want to take advantage of that for her. But right before that happens, she's not going to be drinking water, and that is her marking point to you. Okay, so until then, I kind of feel like just keep putting one foot in front of the other. When she stops drinking and she's kind of panting or choking on something, I feel like that's her red flag to you that she's ready.
Okay. Excuse me. Anna asks, why have I been having such trouble with people lately? Is there anything I can do to make it better?
Well, we did, what was the mini class that we did?
How to hate less and forgive more?
How to hate less and forgive more. And then we have another free mini class coming up called The End Times, Is This It? One of the things that I've been coming out and openly speaking about more is that because it is the end times, it's a transitional phase, we're in a certain process with the awakening where things have crossed. There's been a tipping point. I think I posted it like 2 weeks ago. I said this was the tipping point. And one of the things that I talk a lot about is the tipping point involving people that are feeding the dark will become mentally ill and they will fall to the wayside. And people that are more connected to the light and have made that choice repeatedly are going to be moved up into leadership position. They'll be healed. They'll attain more prosperity in their lives, all kinds of things. But we are past the tipping point now. That was a couple weeks ago. So what happened at the tipping point is that those who deliberately have chosen to feed dark energy, we have to let them go. Okay, we have to release them. And they will start to attack those who have chosen the side of the light. Now, after that, we saw Floyd. We saw everything that we're looking at right now, the riots, okay? It literally, has shifted. It's like a war zone, and you're either feeding the dark or you're on the side of the light. Now, those that are feeding the dark, when I say that they're going to become mentally ill and they're going to fall to the wayside, and they can't recoup from that, one of the things that we're looking at is a paranormal activity, which becomes, it usually moves from being an attachment, which will cause them to lash out at other people, be very paranoid, dark. They're obsessed with conspiracy theories. They're bonkers. And then it moves into a possession where they no longer are themselves. And their bodies are basically taken over. Okay, so what we need to do now, if you are feeding the light, you are a member of the light, and that is your choice. It's over with. So start just departing from them, because at this point, they're just going to try and create trouble in your life or destruction in your life. And it's not even safe to associate with them anymore. There's no more saving them now.
Okay.
Everybody, and I just want to say, I feel for you, because a lot of these people will be your family members or, close friends and things like this. But be proud of who you are and stick with your brothers and sisters in the light. Find new community. It's happening to everybody. Everybody.
Candy asks, my Aunt Jeannie passed last fall. She lived in Canada for part of her life. A couple months ago, I found a Canadian nickel in my bathroom, and weeks later, one by my van. Was this her? And does she have a message for me?
Okay. All three. Okay. I do feel like that was her, and I feel like she's funny, and I feel like she wants you to have fun. I don't know if she played cards or like bingo or enjoyed the casino or something like this, but I see her with cards. And it feels like fun and playing and interactive. And this is what she likes to do. I also feel like she had a great way of giving advice or giving wisdom and giving support. And it's sort of like if you didn't understand something or you weren't sure what direction to go in, you could go to Aunt Ginny and she would seem to know. And I feel like you guys had this great relationship too, where you gave her love and support, or took, I'm not saying you took care of her in the literal sense, like as a nurse, but I do feel that you would keep an eye on, okay, and talk with her that way. And it felt very supportive. She wants to make sure that you know that she's good, because I do feel like she suffered. I can't tell if this, I can't prescribe diagnose, but I can't tell if this is a cancerous condition or she just had some other kind of systemic problem. It also feels like it may have affected her mobility issues, and she was uncomfortable. And she's very happy, okay? She wants you to be happy too. She said that you're blooming right now, that you're kind of coming out. You're kind of coming out. You know, I see like this butterfly, and it's sort of like you're getting to shake it up in life right now. And she wants to see you travel and have fun and adventures and parties. And she said you changed your hair. So I don't know if you shortened it and colored it or something like this. It's almost like more red or brighter or lighter. And then it's like shorter. She just loves you very much. She wants you happy. So she said, yep, that's me. And I'm dropping in. I also feel like her and I do feel like your father using clouds to communicate. Now, this is not the easiest thing. Okay. So this is quite bold. It's like using clouds in the shape of angels, or using clouds in the shape of hearts, using clouds in the shape of, I don't know if what I'm looking at, a dog maybe or something like this, but they're trying to let you know that they're around. It's like eyes to the sky. Okay, keep your eyes to the sky. Ton of love. Good.
All right. So Jamie Lynn said thank you. Brandy said thank you.
I also feel like somebody in you're welcome. I also feel like somebody, Candy, I can't tell if this is you or this is someone in your very close circle. I can't prescribe or diagnose, but somebody is having either circulation issues or like lower back sciatica pain, or it's like a, what do you call the numbness?
Oh.
Arthropathy?
Neuropathy. Yeah.
I don't even have this problem. I don't even know. I'm pathetic. I'm a goner.
I think it's great.
So, it's something with the nerves, and I see numbness and I see some pain, okay, radiating pain. And what they're talking about is you or whoever this is in your circle who's dealing with this. It's almost like go get a second opinion, okay? Don't just sit on the pain. Don't just live with the pain. Don't just assume that what you were told is it. There seems to be more that can be done, okay? Research it. Okay.
Anna also says thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Another healing question here. Mindful Healing Therapies asks, are you able to tell me what direction career-wise that I should take? I started a holistic healing business, but I've lost all confidence and feel that maybe I'm not following my path.
Well, again, I would recommend a life contract reading with me, where I can look at your life contract to look at everything that you signed on to before you came to Earth, from birth to death. But if you don't want to do that, you could also do a spiritual life coaching, where we can look specifically at light work and the healing arts. Okay, so spiritual life coaching could also work for you. What I'm feeling with this, though, mindful healing therapies. Mindful healing therapies. Okay, let me see what I'm getting with this. You know, I feel like you had some self-work that needed to be dealt with. And what I'm hearing from your relationship guide is out of the way. So whether you had a love partner that you were dealing with throughout this time, or this is someone you've left to the past, it feels to me that there's a relationship issue that would have been going on. And part of what you're supposed to be examining is who you are in relation to a love partner in this life, what your position is, what you want, are you getting what you need, how are you interacting with your potential life partner. And I feel that you were being a little bit drained by circumstances in your life that weren't completely authentic. And I think some things had to go. So basically what I'm seeing for you is that you've been going through a little bit of cleaning house for a while. And I think that things will be picking up within the next 6 months. But I do think it's also important that you examine what in your life is not serving you and what needs to go, and where in relationships should you be setting proper boundaries. Because if we don't get it, we have a big responsibility when we do light work. And if we don't understand these dynamics and how to work energy in our own personal lives, we get put up on the shelf. Okay, so you have to learn these lessons before. I said this to someone earlier. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't teach what you don't know. Can't be blind leading blind. Okay, so you're learning some things right now. That in no way should you allow that to affect your confidence level in being a healer. It's just part of the process.
Good. Okay. Masha asks, do my guides have any messages for me and my current situation?
Masha, what do your guides want to say to you? Well, I do have your, let's see, this is your relationship guide and your work and money guide. So what I'm feeling with your current situation is that you're getting tired. I feel like you're trying to cultivate something, but you're waiting on answers. I feel like you don't have all the information that you need. And I feel like it's going to be anywhere from a 2 to 3 week process to a 3 to 4 month process, looking over here at the future. So it's like cultivate. What I want to say right now is do everything that you're supposed to do. Do your responsibility and your due diligence, and then allow for things, okay, to unfold, and you'll have a better understanding. You are also supposed to not be holding yourself back. And if there are people or situations in your life where you're overgiving, you don't have a healthy sense of boundaries, you also need to stop that, because that is combined in with this issue, even though it would not logically make sense that it is. And you're going through a bit of a test, okay? So you also need to do that, get things in better balance that way. I also want to say, make sure you're not enabling people, okay? But things are going to be working out. I feel like if I look out 5 to 6 months from now, I've got answers, okay, as you. I've got answers. Things are predictable. I understand what's happening. And I can sort of have a stronger map and roadmap and game plan as to how I want to proceed forward. And I feel good about that. All right, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you again next Monday at 9 p.m. for Ask Ivy here, where I take your personal questions and I give your weekly horoscopes. Hope to see you guys register for Psychic Mediumship course. It begins October 7th. Registration is now open. 2 pathways to learning to suit everyone's lifestyle. And what is the other one that we were promoting today? Tarot begins what?
Wednesday the 17th.
Wednesday the 17th, Paul will be teaching Intuitive Tarot. You're going to learn not only the traditional method of using the cards, but also the intuitive method, which means that the cards will not inhibit you from moving up into mediumship. We actually incorporate mediumship and channeling into the tarot course. Registration is now open. Thank you, Paul.
All right, very welcome.
Thanks, everybody.